Africa is often called the cradle of humanity, but you know the truth is far more complex. For generations, we believed that our species evolved in one single region of Africa, and then spread outward to the rest of the world. That story was simple. Too simple. Because when scientists began to recover ancient African DNA, they uncovered a history far older, richer, and more connected than anyone imagined. This is the real story of how humanity began, and how the DNA of Africa rewrote everything we thought we knew about ourselves. The story starts not with a fossil, but with a puzzle. Modern humans around the world share most of their genes, yet within Africa, genetic diversity is enormous. Two people from different parts of Africa can be more genetically distinct than a European and an East Asian combined. For decades, scientists didn't understand why, until ancient DNA gave us a window into the deep past. For years, it seemed impossible to recover DNA from Africa's ancient remains. The heat, humidity, and acidic soils destroyed genetic material fast, but advances in technology changed that. By the late 2010s, teams of geneticists began extracting fragments of DNA from skeletons buried thousands of years ago, and those fragments told stories no one expected. So, in 2015, researchers in Ethiopia sequenced DNA from a man who had lived about 4,500 years ago in a cave called Moda. He was, just an ordinary farmer of his time, but honestly, his genome revealed something pretty extraordinary. Compared to modern Ethiopians, he actually lacked the DNA of non-Africans. That meant that after his time, people from outside Africa, descendants of those who had earlier migrated out, came back into Africa and mixed with local populations. Then came another discovery, this time from Shumlaka, a rock shelter in the highlands of Cameroon. Inside lay the remains of 4 children who had lived about 8,000 years ago. When scientists sequenced their DNA, they were honestly stunned. The children were not closely related to today's West or Central Africans. Instead, their ancestry traced to an ancient lineage that diverged from other humans more than 250,000 years ago. These children actually represented a population we didn't even know existed, a branch of humanity that split off early and later disappeared. Their DNA proved that multiple deeply distinct human groups had lived side by side within Africa for hundreds of millennia. Further south, in Malawi and Tanzania, researchers sequenced DNA from hunter-gatherers who lived between 6,000 and 20,000 years ago. Each community carried unique ancestry, showing that Ice Age Africa was really a patchwork of small, isolated populations, each evolving slightly differently, each contributing something new to the gene pool. Over time, as climates changed and people moved, these groups mixed again, knitting together the genetic fabric of modern Africans. And the surprises kept coming. At a site in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal region, scientists found evidence of ancient DNA that diverged from modern humans over 200,000 years ago, suggesting that our species didn't emerge from a single cradle. But, instead of coming from a single place, humans actually emerged from a network of populations across the continent. Instead of one origin point, there were many, all connected by migration, trade, and, just shared survival. When you put all the data together, honestly, a whole new picture starts to emerge. Homo sapiens didn't just appear in one place, fully formed. Our species was really born from multiple ancestral populations living all across Africa, East, West, South, and Central. Each one contributing threads to the tapestry of humanity. These populations met, mixed, separated, and, met again over tens of thousands of years. Sometimes entire groups vanished, leaving behind only genetic echoes, and sometimes they merged, creating new cultures and languages. This web of movement explains why African genetic diversity is so vast. It's not a coincidence. It's a record of deep time. You know, every river valley, every desert, every mountain range has played a part in this incredible story. All these places were part of the laboratory where humanity evolved, and while some of those early groups disappeared, their DNA still flows quietly through people alive today. It's fascinating to think about, isn't it? Ancient DNA has also revealed how African populations shaped the rest of the world. Before the great migrations out of Africa, there were many small ones, waves of explorers who left and sometimes returned. It's amazing to consider how interconnected our history truly is. Some of their descendants would later form the ancestors of everyone from Europeans to indigenous Australians. But, you know, the genetic groundwork, the diversity, adaptability, and creativity, was laid in Africa long before. Even language and culture carry that legacy. The earliest known symbolic art, musical instruments and jewelry all come from African sites more than 70,000 years old. Those same creative impulses appear in every civilization that followed, because honestly, they were part of us from the very beginning. Today, when scientists map human ancestry, they no longer draw a simple tree branching from a single root. Instead, they draw a braided network, and honestly, it's a much more complex and fascinating picture. It's a picture of populations weaving in and out across time, and at the center of that web lies Africa, not as one birthplace, but as a continent of many beginnings. Each new genome from Africa adds another verse to that song. Together, they remind us that we come from a world of variety and connection, not isolation. Every person on Earth, no matter where they live, carries pieces of this African story. We are the sum of those forgotten ancestors, the farmers of Moda, the children of Shumlaka, the hunters of Malawi, and the wanderers who carried their genes into the future. The DNA that rewrote Africa's story didn't just tell us where we came from, it showed that humanity's greatest strength has always been diversity, and, you know, the constant blending of ideas, genes, and cultures. Our roots aren't a single line, they're a web, ancient, beautiful, and shared by everyone.